An excerpt from Everyman's Talmud, the major teachings of the rabbinic sages by Abraham Cohen. Chapter 9, Folklore. 1, Demonology. So firm was the belief in evil spirits, both among the educated and the uneducated classes, that the Talmud legislates for it. In their legal decisions, the rabbis prescribe for circumstances which presuppose the actuality of demons. For instance, in connection with laws regulating what may or may not be done on the Sabbath, it was enacted, who extinguishes a lamp through fear of attack by Gentiles or robbers, or through fear of an evil spirit, is free from guilt. And if one has been forcibly driven beyond the permitted distance which one may walk on the Sabbath, either by Gentiles or an evil spirit, he may only move 4 cubits of his own accord. An important cause of sinfulness is possession by a spirit which deprives the unfortunate person of his sense or right as well as his self-mastery. No person commits a sin unless there enters into him a spirit of madness. Another statement on the subject is, 3 things cause a person to transgress against his conscience and the will of his Maker: Gentiles, an evil spirit, and the pressing needs caused by poverty. On the question of the origin of these harmful things, there is diversity of opinion. One view was that they were a part of God's creation among the 10 objects which were declared to have been created on the eve of the first Sabbath. Were there mazakin or harmful spirits? On the text, and God said, "Let the earth bring forth the living creature after its kind." The observation was made, "These are the demons whose souls the Holy One, blessed is He, created, but when He came to create their bodies, He hallowed the Sabbath and did not create them. There were accordingly thought of as disembodied spirits." A variant of this theory is that there are the souls of evil men transmuted by God into malignant form as a punishment. The men who planned to build the Tower of Babel were divided into 3 classes. One said, "Let us ascend to heaven and dwell there." Another said, "Let us ascend and practice idolatry." The third said, "Let us ascend and wage war against God." The first class God dispersed. This third class was turned into apes, spirits, demons, and night devils. And as for the second class, He confused their language. Still another variant makes God their original creator, but their propagation was the result of intercourse between them and the first human pair. During the entire period of 130 years that Adam separated himself from Eve after the expulsion from Eden, the male spirits became impassioned through her, and she bore from them. The female spirits became impassioned through him and bore from him. A foundation for this belief was discovered in the biblical text. All of the years that Adam was under the ban, he begat spirits, demons, and night devils, as it is said. Adam lived 130 years and begat a son in his own likeness after his image, from which the inference is to be drawn that hitherto he had not begotten in his own likeness. The an entirely different theory was advanced, an evolutionary hypothesis to explain their existence. Vis-a-vis, the male hyena after 7 years becomes a bat. The bat after 7 years becomes a vampire. The vampire after 7 years becomes a nettle. The nettle after 7 years becomes a thorn. The thorn after 7 years becomes a demon. As for their characteristics, in three respects, they resemble the ministering angels, and in three, they are like human beings. Like the ministering angels, they have wings. They fly from one end of the world to the other. They know, and they know the future. Like human beings, they eat and drink, propagate, and die. Some also declare they have the power of altering their appearance and can see but are invisible. That they are not visible to human beings is a blessing, because had the human eye been given the power of seeing them, no person could endure because of the evil spirits. They outnumber us, said a rabbi, and surround us like the ridge round a field. Every one of us, said another, has 1,000 on his left hand and myriads on his right. The crush of the public discourses, said a third, is due to them. The knees grow fatigued because of them. Because of them wearing out the clothes of the rabbis is the consequences of their rubbing against them. The feet are bruised by them. The numerical strength is elsewhere emphasized. The whole world is full of evil spirits and harmful demons, said one rabbi, while another declared, there is not an extent of a fourth of a cob in the space of the universe in which there are not 9 cobs of demons. Rabbi Jochanan said there are 300 species of male demons in Sinchen. But as for the female demon, I do not know what she is. Although they are normally invisible, yet there are means of detecting their presence and even of seeing them. Who wishes to perceive their footprints should take sifted ashes and sprinkle them around his bed. In the morning he will see something resembling the footprints of a cock. Who wishes to see them should take the afterbirth of a black she-cat, the offspring of a black she-cat, the firstborn of a firstborn, roast it in the fire, pulverize it, then fill his eyes with it, and he will see them. He must pour the powder into an iron tube and seal it with an iron signet, lest he come to harm. A certain rabbi did this. He saw the evil spirits and was injured. His colleagues prayed for him and he was cured. While they are liable to be met with anywhere, there are certain places which they particularly frequent. Notable among them are dark, unclean, and dangerous spots and water. The evil spirits seem really to be the personification of danger. A favorite haunt is ruined buildings. A discussion on the subject is held in the Talmud. For 3 reasons, one should not enter ruins: on the account of suspicion or falling fabric and evil spirits. Why mention on account of suspicion, since a sufficient reason can be derived from the danger of falling fabric? they might be new ruins. Then derive it from the danger of evil spirits. This would not apply when two men entered a ruin. But should there be two men, there would likewise be no ground for suspicion. There would be, in the case of two men of ill repute, why mention on account of falling fabric, since the sufficient reason can be derived from the grounds of suspicion and evil spirits. No, not in the case of two men of good repute. Why mention on account of evil spirits, since a sufficient reason cannot be derived from the grounds of suspicion and falling fabric? No, not in the case of new ruins and two men of good repute. Is there no fear of evil spirits? Also, when there are two men, in such places where evil spirits resort, there is an occasion for fear. Or, if you will, I can say that even in the case of a person alone and new ruins situated in a wild place, there is no grounds for suspicion, because a woman does not frequent such a spot, but the fear of evil spirits remains. The result of the argument is that ruins must be avoided principally for the reason that demons resort there. Another favorite haunt is the latrine, wherever immodest in a privy is delivered from three things, from serpents, scorpions, and evil spirits. There was a privy in Tiberias, which if two people entered, even by day they came to harm. It was told of two rabbis that they entered it separately and no harm befell them. Their colleagues asked, "Were you afraid? Were you not afraid?" They answered, "We were not taught a charm. A charm for the privy is modesty and silence." Another rabbi feared a lamb to accompany him into a privy. Another rabbi reared a lamb to accompany him into the privy. Before Rabbah was appointed principal of the academy, his wife used to rattle a nut in a flask before him. But afterwards, when he presided over the academy, she made an aperture for him in the wall and placed her hand upon his head. The Talmud offers this incantation to exorcise the demon of a privy upon the head of a lion and upon the nose of a lioness. I found the demon Bar Sharika Panda. In the valley where leeks grow, I beat him. With an ass's jawbone, I strike him. The belief is almost universal that evil spirits especially frequent places where there is water. Harmful spirits are found in wells, also in fields. A rabbi related, "It happened in my village that Abba Jose of Saitor was sitting and studying by the opening of a well, when the spirit which resided there appeared to him and said, 'You know how many years I have resided here, and yet you come out and your wives in the evening and the new moon, but you have not been harmed. You should, however, be informed that a certain evil spirit desires to take up its abode here, which will do injury to human beings.' Abba Jose asked, 'What shall we do?' He answered, 'Go and warn the inhabitants of the place and say to them, wherever has a hoe or a spade or a shovel should come here to tomorrow at dawn and watch the surface of the water. When they notice a ripple of the water, they should beat it with their iron implements and explain, "The victory is ours." They must not depart until they see a clot of blood on the water's surface. When he went and warned the people of the village of what had been told, they acted on the advice given, and at dawn the next day beat their iron implements and exclaimed, "The victory is ours, the victory is ours." Nor did they leave the spot until they saw a kind of blood clot upon the surface of the water. Because of the partiality of demons or places where water is, particular care must be taken with liquids, especially when they are left exposed. An evil spirit alights upon foodstuffs and beverages which are kept beneath a bed, even though covered within an iron receptacle. One should not pour into the public road water which has been exposed overnight, nor should he sprinkle the floor of a house with it. Use it for making mortar. Give his or his neighbor's cattle to drink of it, nor wash his hands and feet therewith. A person may not drink water on Wednesday night or Saturday night. If he does drink, then his blood is on his own head because of danger. Which danger? An evil spirit. If he is thirsty, what is the remedy? Let him recite the passage relating to the 7 voices in Psalms 29, or let him pronounce the incantation, Lul Shapan Anigran and Anir Dafan. I sit amidst the stars, I walk among lean and fat men. Otherwise, he should awake anybody who is present and say to him, "A son of B, I thirst for water," and then he may drink. Or let him rattle the lid against the pitcher and drink. Or let him throw something into it and drink. A person should not drink from rivers or pools at night. If he does drink, then his blood is on his own head because of the danger. Which danger? The dangers of shabriri. If he is thirsty, what is his remedy? Should there be a person present, let him say to him, "A son of B, I thirst for water." Otherwise, let him say to himself, "My mother told me, be careful of shabriri, briri, riri, iri, re. I am thirsty in a white cup." There's a reason why Wednesday and Saturday nights are singled out, or the reason why Wednesday and Saturday nights are singled out is accounted for by the belief. One should not go out alone at night, particularly on Wednesday and Saturday nights, because Agrath, daughter of Machlath, is abroad with 18 myriads of angels of destruction, each of whom has permission to work harm by himself. Evil spirits shun the light and prefer darkness. Therefore, night is a dangerous time. A person is forgiven to give a greeting to anyone in the night time for fear that it might be a demon. Another passage states, "Walking by the light of a torch is equal to 2, by moonlight is equal to 3. To a single person, an evil spirit appears and does injury. To 2 it appears but does not do injury. To 3 it does not appear at all." Therefore, one should not walk abroad in the darkness unaccompanied. To avoid the glare of the sunlight, the spirits repair to shade places. For this reason, peril lurks in the shadows. There are 5 shadows which are dangerous on the account of evil spirits: the shadow of a single palm, of a lotus tree, of a caper tree, of a sorb bush, and a fig tree. Some also add the shadow of a ship and of a willow. The general rule is the more branches a tree has, the more dangerous its shade, or the more dangerous its shades is its shades. And when its thorns are dangerous, its shade is correspondingly dangerous, with the exception of the service tree, which is not dangerous despite the fact that its thorns are. A female demon said to her son, "Fly from the service tree, because it killed your father and will also kill you." The shadows of caper trees are the resort of spirits. The shadows of sorb bushes are the resort of demons. Roofs are the resort of rishpi. For what purpose is this mentioned? In the connection with the amulet, the spirits of the caper tree are creatures without eyes. For what purpose is this mentioned? To escape from them. On one occasion, a rabbinic scholar went to relieve himself by some caper trees. He heard a female demon coming upon him, and so he fled. As she followed him, she became entangled in a palm, and the palm withered and burst. The shadows of the sorb bushes are the resort of demons. A sorb bush is in the vicinity of a town, has not less than 60 demons. For what purpose is this mentioned? For the inscription of the amulet. Once a town watchman went and stood by a sorb bush, which was near a town. 60 demons attacked him, and he was in danger. He went to one of the rabbis, who did not know that 60 demons frequented a sorb bush, and he wrote for him an amulet against one demon. He heard them dancing around him and singing. This person's turban is like that of a rabbinic scholar, but we have proved that he does not know how to pronounce a benediction. Then a rabbi came who was aware that 60 demons haunted a sorb bush. And he wrote an amulet against 60 demons, and he heard them say to each other, "Clear out from here." Evil spirits not only attack human beings but also animals, which as a result become maddened and a source of danger. Dogs are especially liable to possession by them. 5 things are said of a mad dog: its mouth is open, its spit drips, its ears flap, its tail hangs between its legs, and it slinks along sides of the street. Some declare that it also barks inaudibly. What is the cause of its madness? One rabbi attributed it to witches playing with the dog. Another maintained that an evil spirit rested upon it. What is the point at issue between them? Whether it is to be killed by a means of a projectile, since whoever comes in contact with the dog is in danger, and whoever is bitten by it dies. If a person comes in contact with it, what is his remedy? He should divest himself of his garments and run away. If he is bitten, what is the remedy? He takes the skin of a male hyena and writes upon it. I, A, son of B, writes upon the skin of a male hyena concerning thee. Kanti, kanti, kleros. Another version is kandi, kandi, chloros. Jah, Lord of hosts, amen, amen, Selah. He divests himself of his garments, buries them in a grave for 12 months, then takes them out, burns them in a furnace, and scatters the ashes at the crossroads. During those 12 months, when he drinks water, he should only drink it through a copper tube, lest he see the reflection of a demon in the water and subject himself to peril. Certain classes of a person become particularly susceptible to attack by evil spirits and need special protection. 3 require guarding from demons. An invalid, a bridegroom, and a bride. Another version is an invalid, a woman in confinement, a bridegroom, and a bride. Some say also a mourner, and others add also disciples of the sages at night. The principal female demon was Lilith, who was thought as a creature with long hair. With regard to her, it was said, it is forbidden for a man to sleep alone in a house, and whoever sleeps alone in a house will be seized by Lilith. Little is told of her in the Talmud, but she figures prominently in later Jewish folklore, as well as especially harmful to women in confinement and a child snatcher. Since the human being was so exposed to the harmful activities of evil spirits, means had to be devised to circumvent their mischievous designs. Some of these have already been indicated, such as incantations and amulets. Formulas have been quoted for the purpose of banishing demons in special circumstances, but the general rule is given: to exorcise a demon, say, be split, be accursed, broken, and banned, son of mud, son of an unclean one, son of clay, as Shamgaz, Merigaz, and Istima. Even numbers, as we shall see in a later section, were regarded as unlucky since they attracted the undesirable attention of evil spirits. So to overcome them, it is necessary to make them believe that an odd number is involved. A rabbi related, the demon Joseph informed me, if one drinks 2 glasses of a beverage, we kill. The 4 glasses we do not kill, but with 4 we injure. In the case of 2, it is immaterial whether they were taken in error or intentionally. But with 4 we injure if it was done willfully, but not if it was done in error. Should a person forget himself and chance to go out after drinking 2 glasses, what is his remedy? He takes his right thumb in the left hand and his left thumb in the right hand, and says, you and I are 3, but if he hears somebody declare, you and I are 4, he should say, you and I are 5. And if he hears somebody declare, you and I are 6, then he should say, you and I are 7. It once happened so until the person reached the number of 101, and then one demon burst. An exceptional knowledge of such incantations for the overcoming of demons was attributed to King Solomon. Many spirits and demons did Solomon vanquish, although the power deserted him later in life because, as it is said, until Solomon sinned, he ruled over the demons. An interesting reference to the subject is found in Josephus. God also enabled him to learn the art which expels demons, which is useful and works cures for men. Compose charms, also by which diseases are alleviated. And he left behind him forms of exorcisms by which people drive away demons so that they never return. And this method of cure is of very great value unto this day. For I have seen a certain man of my own country, whose name was Eleazar, curing people possessed by demons in the presence of Vespasian, and his sons and captains and the whole of his soldiers. The manner of the cure was as follows. He put a ring that had under its seal one of those sorts of roots mentioned by Solomon to the nostrils of the demoniac. And then he drew the demon out through the nostrils as he smelt it. When the man fell down immediately, he adjured the demon to return into him no more. Still make mention of Solomon and reciting the incantation which he had composed. The use of a root inside of a signet ring as an amulet is mentioned in the rabbinic sources. A person may not walk out of the Sabbath wearing an amulet unless it has been written by such an expert. Which is the amulet of an expert, such as had effected a cure a second and a third time. When it be an amulet in writing, or one consisting of roots, which such he may go out on the Sabbath. Obviously, so if he had already been attacked by a demon, but also if he had not yet been attacked, obviously, so if it is in a circumstance where there is danger, but also if there is no danger. One may tie it and untie it during the Sabbath, providing he does not insert it in a necklace or signet ring and carry it about because of appearance's sake. The law with regard to written amulets is, even though they contain the divine name, they may not be rescued from fire on the Sabbath, but must be allowed to burn. Consequently, no idea of sanctity attached to them. The commenter Rashi mentions as verses commonly included in amulets. I will put none of the diseases upon thee which I have put upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. And thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that fleeth by day. Amulets were also attached to animals, since they likewise were liable to attack. The law states an animal may not go out on the Sabbath wearing an amulet, even written by an expert. And on this point, the law is stricter with an animal than a human being. Besides the carrying of written amulets, the recital of certain scriptural texts was supposed to afford protection against demons. Whoever reads the Shema upon his bed is as though he holds a two-edged sword in his hand to ward off evil spirits. As it is said, let the high praises of God be in their mouths, and a two-edged sword in their hand. That indeed was the purpose for which it was instituted. On what ground was it ordained that the Shema should be recited at home in the evening to put the harmful spirit to flight? Another favorite passage is indicated in the statement, in Jerusalem they used to recite the song of the evil spirits on the Sabbath for the relief of a stricken person. Which is it? It was said with reference to the psalm that it was composed by Moses at the time when he ascended Mount Sinai because he was afraid of the harmful spirits. But the most reliable safeguard is the divine protection. Were it not for the shadow of the Holy One, blessed is he which protects the human being. The harmful spirits would slay him, as it is said. The defense is departed from them, and the Lord is with us. Fear them not. Another version is, were it not for the word of the Holy One, blessed is he which protects the human being. The harmful spirits would slay him, as it is said, I create the fruit of the lips, peace, peace to him that is far off, and to him that is near, saith the Lord, and I will heal him. On the statement, and all the peoples of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. The remark is made. The word all is to include even benediction. The Lord keep thee. Received the interpretation from harmful spirits. The divine protection against these malicious beings is secured by obedience to his commandments. If a man perform a religious precept, one angel is assigned to him. If he perform two precepts, two angels are assigned to him. If he performed all the precepts, many angels are assigned to him, and it is said, for he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy days. Who are these angels? They are the guardians from the harmful spirits. As it is said, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand.